that the RSS has to capture all the institutions that have emerged.
LOP है तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है। LOP का मतलब नहीं, आप जनरल बात बोलो। आसन को चुनौती देने का प्रयास मत करिए, ये ठीक नहीं है।
Capture of the institution that directly controls the election system of our country, the Election Commission, to remove the CJI. Do we not believe in the CJI? Of course we believe in the CJI. Why is he not in that room? We have a Brazilian woman who appears 22 times on the voter list of Haryana.
ये सदन है, सदन की गरिमा को बनाए रखें। आप सदन की गरिमा से बोलेंगे तो ठीक नहीं, जैसे सदन नहीं चलेगा। No,
there is no bigger anti-national act that you can do than vote should. Thank you, Speaker Sir, for letting me speak on this really important matter. We talk with great pride about HAL, BHEL, ONGC, Tejas, Chandrayaan. We have a list of things we say. Not one of those would exist without the vote. On the 30th of January, 1948, 3 bullets pierced the chest of Mahatma Gandhi. Nathuram Godse assassinated the father of our nation. That the RSS has to capture all the institutions that have emerged.
सर, अभी नहीं पहना हुआ।
I'm doing, relax.
मैं बुलाता हूँ, प्लीज बैठिए।
The process started and the RSS attempted to capture one institution after the other. And I will give some examples so that it is crystal clear that this is the case. Everybody knows how vice chancellors are placed on top of Indian universities today. Every single person knows this. You go to any university, you speak to any youngster in India, he will tell you that it does not matter whether the professor has qualifications. It does not matter whether the professor has a scientific temperament. The only thing that matters is the professor belongs.
माननीय सदस्य, एक मिनट, माननीय सदस्य, चुनाव सुधारों पर चर्चा हो रही है।
सर, ये मैं उसी पे कर रहा हूँ।
आप किसी भी संगठन का नाम जो इस हाउस में उसका नाम ले लें। LOP है तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है। LOP का मतलब नहीं, आप जनरल बात बोलो।
आप लोग सुनिए ना, क्या कहना चाहते हैं?
धमकी देंगे आप?
हम लोग सुनने के लिए बैठा है। अभी तक नेता प्रतिपक्ष एक शब्द चुनाव सुधार पे अभी तक आया ही नहीं है।
संसदीय कार्य मंत्री बोल रहे हैं।
मैं स्पीकर का परमिशन से ही बोल रहा हूँ। हम सुनने के लिए बैठे हैं। अरे हम सुनने के लिए बैठे हैं। नेता प्रतिपक्ष चुनाव सुधार के लिए जो सुझाव देंगे, सुनने के लिए तो हम बैठे हैं। लेकिन चुनाव सुधार को नहीं बोलते हुए कहा जो इस सदन से कोई वास्ता नहीं, जो संगठन, उसका कहानी किसी और का बोलना ये कोई उचित नहीं है।
The discussion is about the vote.
एक मिनट।
सर, मुझे बोलने दीजिए।
एक मिनट बैठिए। उस विषय बोल रहे हैं, सदन की गरिमा को बनाए रखें। आसन को चुनौती देने का प्रयास मत करिए, ये ठीक नहीं है।
Speaker sir, I want to make it very clear. The discussion is about votes. The discussion is about the stealing of votes. The discussion is about the SIR, and I am framing my discussion about votes.
Yes, that is.
I have done absolutely nothing wrong. I am talking about the subject. In order to capture the vote, you have to capture institutions. I am saying that institutions of India are captured, and I will come to the point, which is Election Commission is captured. The project of the RSS was to capture the institutional framework of the country, and I said how the education system has been captured. Vice Chancellor after Vice Chancellor after Vice Chancellor is placed not on merit, not on capability, not on scientific temper, but on the fact that he belongs to a particular organization. Second capture, which helps in destroying democracy, the capture of the intelligence agencies. We have the Home Minister sitting here, the capture of the CBI, of the ED, of the Income Tax Department. And the systematic placement of bureaucrats who favor their ideology and attack the opposition and anybody who chooses to oppose the RSS. That is the second institutional capture. And the third institutional capture of the institution that directly controls the election system of our country, the Election Commission. Now, I'm not saying this without proof. I have put forth adequate proof about how the Election Commission is colluding with those in power to shape the elections. But I want to ask three questions first, which will make it very clear that the BJP is directing and using the Election Commission to damage India's democracy. The first question, why is it that the CJI was removed from the selection panel of the Election Commissioner? What motivation could there be to remove the CJI? Do we not believe in the CJI? Of course we believe in the CJI. Why is he not in that room? I sit in that room. It is so-called a democratic decision. On one side, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Mr. Amit Shah. On the other side, the leader of the opposition. I have no voice in that room. What they decide is what happens. So the first question, why is the Prime Minister and Amit Shah so keen on choosing exactly who the Election Commissioner is going to be? Second question, and even more devastating question, no Prime Minister has done this in the history of India. In December 2023, this government changed the law. They changed the law to make sure that no election commissioner could be punished for any action they take while they are election commissioner.
Yes. Immunity.
Why would the Prime Minister and Home Minister give this gift of immunity to the election commissioner? Why would they need to give this tremendous gift that no Prime Minister has given ever before to the election commissioner?
Yes.
Mr. Shah is looking into the ceiling. Maybe he will answer this question when he speaks. Why was the law with regards to CCTVs and the data that they contain, why was a law put in place that allows the Election Commission to destroy CCTV footage? The answer given is it is a question of data. It is not a question of data. It is a question of stealing the election. Now, what is the result of this institutional capture? What is the result of controlling the Chief Election Commissioner and the Election Commission? First of all, we have a set of election campaigns that are tailored for the Prime Minister. 3-month, 4-month, 5-month long campaigns are taking place so that the Prime Minister's schedule can be fitted in to the program. We have a Brazilian woman who appears 22 times on the voter list of Haryana.
ये सदन है, सदन की गरिमा को बनाए रखें. आप सदन की गरिमा से बोलेंगे तो ठीक नहीं, जैसे सदन नहीं चलेगा. नो, गलत तरीका है आपका, नहीं होगा. आप ले रहिए, आप ले रहिए. ये तरीका,
सर,
ये तरीका आप इतने सालों तक यहाँ पर हैं, ये तरीका उचित है क्या?
सर,
विरोध का तरीका होता है, लेकिन ये उचित तरीका नहीं है.
तरीका इधर पे
नो.
Of our democratic structure. This is what is happening in our democracy that you're not allowing us to show. This Brazilian woman has appeared 22 times on the voter list in Haryana, whose name has appeared 200 times, more than 200 times in one booth. And it is very clear, and I have proven without doubt, that the election of Haryana was stolen and the theft was ensured by the Election Commission of India. I've said it again and again and again. has the Election Commission answered my questions? The Election Commission has not told me why this lady's picture has appeared on the polling list. They have not told me why lakhs and lakhs of duplicate voters are existing. They have not told me why a BJP leader is coming from Uttar Pradesh to vote in Haryana. These are straightforward questions. And there is clear proof which I have put in front of the country. Right? But the Election Commission has no answer to these questions. What is the architecture of the EVM? Give us access to the EVM. Let our experts go and see what is inside the EVM. Till today, we have not had access to the EVM. We are not shown the architecture of the EVM. We're not physically allowed to go and see an EVM. Give us the architecture. Give us access to the EVM. And finally, please change the law that allows the election commissioner to get away with whatever he wants to do. There is no bigger anti-national act that you can do than vote chori. Because when you destroy the vote, you destroy the fabric of this country. You destroy modern India, you destroy the idea of India. So I'd like to conclude by saying vote chori is an anti-national act, and those across the aisle are doing an anti-national act.